One of my guiltiest pleasures is indulging in the worst, cringiest movies that you can find. Samurai Cop is a movie that I just can't stop going back to. The acting, the writing, everything is just so beautifully awful. To give you a little bit of context, our main character, Joe, is this macho police guy from a different district. He's coming in and he's going to be able to save the city. Now, he does so in a very unorthodox way that puts a lot of people in danger, but you know, he says that he's going to get results. So they're like, okay. He has these awkward conversations where he tries to hit on women, but then he also doesn't seem like he knows how to talk to people in general, so it's pretty funny.
Do you like what you see?
I love what I see.
Would you like to touch what you see?
Yes, I would.
Would you like to go out with me?
Yes, I would.
There's this one person that can't escape his charms, however, and the dialogue isn't the best part. The best part is his partner's facial expressions, because his partner is just standing right there making the weirdest faces. I want to get a hold of the actual script and see what Frank was directed to do. Was it up to him to make his own facial expressions, or did they tell him specifically, hey, you gotta make this face. You gotta make this face. You gotta make this face. And they just go on and on and on. I have no idea. I don't know if it was all Frank. I don't know if it was directing staff, but whatever it was freaking weird, man. There's a scene where they find the van with the bad guys and they take out their guns and they go inside their car and they're ready to be able to go and chase them. And then they start shooting back. Somebody comes out of the back of the car and they start bam, 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 banging away. And then all the main character does is say, shoot, shoot him, shoot, shoot, shoot him.
Shoot! Shoot him! You got him! Shoot! Shoot him! Shoot! Shoot him! Shoot! Shoot him! You got him!
Shoot him! Shoot! Shoot! Shoot him! Shoot him! That repeats over and over again for basically the majority of the chase. At the start of the scene, you have the sun blazing through their car and the light going everywhere, and then it pans to outside, and outside is completely dark, and then it goes back inside and it's light again, then it goes back outside and it's dark again.
Shoot! Shoot him!
And you're thinking, okay, were these filmed at different times during the day, or are they just not really good with exposure? Or they actually want to be able to play around with exposure and say, hey, this looks kind of neat, let's put this in there. When they finally catch the guy driving the van, they accidentally light him on fire, and he's a different person now. I think they have a completely different person for this role, and maybe the person wasn't able to make it, and they just decided, hey, we'll have this guy fill the role. Nobody will tell. I could totally tell that it's a completely different person.
Come on, man, roll him. Put the blanket on him. That's it. It's enough.
And then not only that, when he goes onto the ground and they're trying to be able to put out the fire, he's just making a lot of sounds like, ah, ah, ah. And then when you look at his face, it's like he's completely bored. He's bored out of his skull. He is not on fire. He is not hurt at all.
Burning! Burning! Oh, he's on fire! He's burning! Burning! Do something! Man, he's burning! We gotta do something! Man, you grab the blanket. Get the fire extinguisher.
He's just, why am I here?
Come on, man, roll him. Put the blanket on him. That's it. It's enough.
They put so many action-packed fight scenes in the movies, but there's a lot of moves that are ridiculous, and there's a lot of sounds that don't actually line up with what they're actually doing. Like in this scene, these people are fighting for their lives, and then he goes and slaps her. Her head cracks back, but then you don't actually see the hand, and there's the actual slap sound, so I have no idea what's going on there. Maybe he has like a third hand and it's just going and slapping every way, and there's no way she can beat that, right? Because she can't see what this hand is. It also just seems like they forgot to edit out different parts, or they decided to change things up in post.
Come on, let's get going. Move it.
Like this scene here, this guy, he gets shot, and then all of a sudden, the next frame, he's completely back to normal, and nothing happened, and he just continues fighting, and then he gets shot again, and then he dies. What happened? It looked like he didn't get injured at all. It looked like he was completely fine and went back to fighting. And then they go and look at it, they're like, yeah, that seems right. That seems like a normal place to be able to make a cut. Now getting back to the story, they finally bring the driver in for questioning. However, he can't talk because he's totally burned up. Now the leader of the Katana gang, Fujiyama, is not happy about this at all. You can tell that Fujiyama is the main bad guy because he yells everything that he says, and when he talks, everybody listens.
So they call him Samurai, huh?
If he's a samurai, what the hell are you?
I'll get to know him. And then we'll see who the real samurai is.
So you know where our man is?
He also doesn't like to leave anything up to chance. If there's some guy in his gang that might be talking and is captured, the best course of action is to go and kill him. Not only kill him, make a spectacle of it. So what he does is he talks to his lieutenant and he says,
I want him dead. I want his head cut off and brought here. I want his head on this piano so that every man in my organization understands once more that no katana gets captured alive or talks. Cut!
He is so overly dramatic and over the top by saying, put his head on this piano. But his lieutenant's response is just gold.
I will bring you his head and I will place it on your piano.
Ah yes, that seems like a perfectly reasonable thing to do. I will put this head on your piano. This has to be the worst security detail ever. You have this high-profile criminal in custody that can help your case against a gang who is terrorizing everything. And what you do, you stick one guy there who has no idea what he's doing, just goes down, sits and reads a book while this nurse pops in and decides to change the garbages. And the guy isn't suspicious at all. He's like, oh yeah, go ahead. Doesn't go into the room, doesn't go check on the person who he's supposed to be looking after.
Okay, Steve. I want you to watch the room and watch it good. You got 3 more officers coming to assist you.
And remember, no one goes in the room except for doctors and nurses. Got it?
Okay, Joe.
All right, let's go.
Hey, where are you going?
I have to change the trash. Is that all right?
All right.
The way that they hide this hitman is genius. Out of nowhere, out of the aether, he just pops up. After he goes and decapitates this guy in a very, what seems to be a painful way, which nobody can hear for some reason, he goes back inside of the garbage container and they cover it with this big sheet, which makes it super obvious that there's something that's hiding underneath there. She just waltzes out of the room and nobody's the wiser. Look at the difference in what the cart looks like. There's this giant bulge inside of the cart. There's clearly something there that they're trying to hide. And the guy's just like, not even existent. It doesn't even work that well either. People figure out that they're actually on the run, and he actually has to get out and start running with this girl away from the murder scene because his disguise was absolutely terrible. The police officers or whoever these guys are that are trying to stop the gang are always just saying the exact same things over and over again, and they sound the exact same, so it seems like the same person is playing all of these different roles, but they're actually different people.
Hey, wait a minute. I want to talk to you. Ah! Oh! Hey, wait a minute. Stop. Ah! Oh! Hey, wait a minute.
Hey, wait a minute, doctor. I'd like to talk to you.
So I'm assuming that this part is dubbed over. It's just so funny because it sounds like something that would happen inside of a video game where you're going around and shooting these guys and they all have limited voice lines, so they just say the same things over and over again, except for these are actually people that are being dubbed over by somebody else. It's so funny and it's ridiculous. What also makes me think that they're NPCs is that people keep on dying in very unusual ways. Their deaths are always so over-exaggerated and they add in all of this random stuff that would normally happen inside of a video game, but this is real life. Well, kind of real life. It's a movie that's depicting real life. People also don't seem to move when they get shot. They basically just turn around for a quick second, then come back, and then get shot again, then be like, oh, well that didn't work. Turn around. Oh, you can still see me. Get shot again. You know, a movie really knows how to make something dramatic by adding in music every time somebody does something. This is what happens when Joe meets a mob boss inside the restaurant.
Are you Fujiyama?
Yes, I am. Who are you?
I'm a cop.
And this is what happens when his partner starts to get angry about it.
So you're the infamous boss of this shit Katana gang, huh?
You know, I should actually try that sometime. Whenever I'm having a conversation with somebody and I feel like I need to be able to have a bigger presence and be able to show my strength, I should just stand up and go do-do-do-do-do, 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 do-do-do-do-do. There's a serious scene inside this movie where this cop and his girlfriend are being interrogated by the gang. His girlfriend actually dies right in front of him, and we're supposed to feel pretty bad for this guy. A few seconds later, the bad guys are discussing what they're going to be doing next, and I can't pay attention to the conversation because there's this one guy who's just fixated on his gun. He's just staring at it in his hand, moving it around, being like, what the hell is this?
Washington's address. Chuck, you and your brother go there. His girlfriend is with him. You know how I operate.
We know, boss.
Good. Good. You get any information, you give it to me on the car phone.
All right.
Let's go.
How am I supposed to use this thing? It is just so beautiful. This gun in my hand. There's a scene where the police captain talks to Joe about the consequences of his actions and that he shouldn't be pursuing this gang because it'll be too dangerous. However, it's solved almost immediately by this small act of randomness by his partner.
God damn it, get the hell out of my office. Get out of here. I don't want to see your face. You come back here, you mother...
I have no idea what that was, but I guess it worked because he had a smirk at the end and he was sitting in his chair and it was there for like 3 seconds and they didn't cut, so I'm assuming he's fine with it now because he got a little kiss on the head. They also chose some weirdest lines for people who are supposedly in the most dangerous gang around. You know, a lot of times in movies, the bad guys have the good guys cornered and then all of a sudden they're going to kill them, but then they decide to go on this long speech and then nothing actually happens. Well, they take that to another level. They go and talk and tussle a little bit, and then all of a sudden the good guys get the upper hand and the bad guys are like, hey, leave him alone, hey, don't do that, that's not good, leave him alone, man.
Leave him alone. Uncuff him. I'm in. Uncuff him. Leave him alone. Leave him alone.
You gotta leave him alone, man. I was gonna cut you, but you can't cut him because that's illegal. Joe really wants to be able to be that manly guy who can go and fight and kill anyone. And they really dig into that trope. I'm out of ammo. What we should do is we should get out our swords and we should go and fight each other like men. But then this guy shows up. He has a katana. Joe is ready to go and fight him. And then his partner comes out and just shoots him.
See, what are you gonna do? Fight this guy barehanded?
And it's the funniest thing because it's like, okay, you're expecting that's what they should do, but in a movie you don't think that's actually going to happen because the characters just have to be these stoic, ridiculous guys that are supposed to be able to weather anything. Most of these lines are absolutely awful, and the ones built in for humor aren't funny. It's just the ones that try to be serious that really get me. When they finally track down the bad guys and they're about to raid this place, Joe comes up with this banger.
All right. I need his address.
How do we know that this is the right house?
If Akamura is here, then we'll arrest him. And we'll have a solid case against the Katana gang for hiring 4 assassins to kill a policeman. On the other hand, if it's the wrong house, then we'll apologize to the owner. The usual police routine.
However, not to be overlooked, his partner comes up with this great zinger.
He was smart in every way, except one thing.
What's that?
With all his money and success, he's not as smart as I am.
To do what?
Put on a bulletproof vest, man.
Do I need to spell it out for you, Joe? I'm trying to sound cool and you're just ruining my moment. To give the show some credit though, this joke is absolutely amazing.
Why did you come under?
I'm an undercover cop.
Like in most movies, the good guys come out on top, they kill all the bad guys, and they make sure that the town is safer than ever. I would highly recommend this movie. It's an absolute gem. There are so many scenes and lines that are so iconic in this movie that you won't forget. You won't be able to predict what's going to happen because I think the filmmakers didn't even know what was going to happen when they were building these scenes. And then when they did happen, they're like, whatever, we'll leave it in there.